Welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, President of Performance Strategies and Diane Bogino Development. Our guest today is Kevin Kolbe. Kevin is a video coach, content creator, and founder of Kevin Kolbe Media. Kevin helps people get into and grow with video so they share their gifts and make an impact in the world. Kevin has over 30 years of experience in video production, creative strategy, and marketing. After being on the radio for several years, he switched to TV and worked at stations affiliated with Fox, NBC, CBS, ABC, and the CW in Nashville, Charlotte, and Raleigh. Kevin's video content is a mix of video tips, tools, resources, live streams, and the occasional story video. He publishes videos weekly to his YouTube channel, and he's also active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. His clients have ranged from national companies to small businesses and nonprofit organizations. Kevin is a husband, dad of 3 kids, including one with special needs, a coffee drinker, Batman fan, music lover, and TV watcher. Kevin Kolbe, thank you for being on Business Notes today. It is a pleasure to have you.
Look, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, at my age, I don't know about yours, I'm excited to be anywhere, but that's a whole different story.
Well, I'm 21 several times over, so I know what that means.
Right. So, Kevin, working as an on-air manager and a creative director, what was the catalyst that made you go out on your own?
Well, it's funny. The company decided that I would go out on my own when they eliminated my position. I used to joke about it. Somebody said, "Oh, you jumped ship," and I said, "No, the ship was docked, and I went into the gift store and came back, and the ship had pulled away." So I'd been in the TV business for a long, long time, and most recently was a creative director at a Fox station. And the TV business was like a lot of companies, but a lot of media business was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And they were eliminating positions all over the place. And I told my wife, I said, I don't know when, but I know eventually there were 2 creative directors for the stations. And I thought, they've got 1 program director and 1 engineer. And so they ended up cutting my position, but it was, it turned out to be a blessing. I was good friends with the owner. The owner of the company is the one who actually came and talked to me and took way more care of me than I deserved. And that gave me time to kind of think, what do I want to do? Where am I leading? What are my gifts? And I had started a business years ago on paper, but never done anything with it. And I thought, I like creating video. I like helping people with video and digital media and marketing. And, I'm not really good at manual labor. So why don't I just start my own business?
See, now manual labor is what I do best, windows, whatever.
Now I'm good at deconstruction. If there's a degree or like an award for that, I can do more damage unintentionally than I meant to. So it's like, I know we were just going to change like the faucet, but let's just change the whole vanity.
Oh, good grief. Kevin, people in show business are really not known for their business acumen. Where did you get yours from?
Oh, I have none. Trust me. The funny thing is, so when I was in, and I started in radio before I got into television, and then I was in TV for a long, long, long time. And the great thing about when I shifted from one station to another within the same company, because the last company I was at, I was there for almost 24 years. And I got to work with, the sales team and the programming team and a lot of folks that were a lot smarter than me, had a lot more experience. And then I'm kind of a sponge. I'm okay with not knowing stuff and looking it up. I mean, YouTube became my friend before I probably even had a YouTube channel. And so, I realized that there are certain things in business I have to do. One of the hardest things was selling myself. If we were working together, I would much rather be talking about you and what you want to do and your story. But part of being in business is you have to have a story and you have to sell that story. So, I'm a business owner of one and work with solo businesses to corporations. And, there's things that you have to realize I'm okay at and I'm better at, and I'm not really good at this, but there's an app for that.
Right. So is your business strictly technical, or do you go out on sites and shoot videos and direct and coach and all that?
Yeah, I do both. I'm doing less of, and this is pre, pandemic, but I do less of the going out and actually shooting and producing like I did. I enjoy that. I mean, from the technical standpoint, and when I say technical, like putting video together, my absolute favorite thing still to do to this day to do is editing. Absolutely love editing. I just love it. I think I'm really good at it. There's always somebody better. But, I've had a lot of clients that I have worked with, everything from like, okay, let's figure out what your story is. Let's figure out what your videos are, shoot them, edit them, produce them for them. I have some clients that I've done a lot of online courses for. That's probably right now the thing I enjoy actually being the hands-on the most, is helping people create their online courses. But I I've been pivoting back before pivoting probably became a cool word, to more of a coaching, because there's greater joy sometimes for me. Now I love creating,
Mm.
turning on a camera, creating something, but sometimes I feel like that's more for me. And if I'm creating for you, let me help you come up with the ideas and figure out the gear. You don't need that much to begin with, and things like that. So it's a little of both, but it's probably becoming more like this, like coaching. I mean, I've got some clients that aren't even in the United States, and other than this is the only way we get to see each other. But that's kind of cool too, that you get to meet people because of the technology we've been allowed to use for free a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What do you think the need will be over the next, 2 to 5 years for what you do?
Well, I think it's going to be more and more people that feel the need to get into video on some level. I think for a long time, and still probably to a degree, people think, well, video is so expensive and I don't have the right gear. I can't tell you how many times I hear that. People say, I don't have the right gear. I don't want to do anything with my iPhone. And so there's the fear of gear, not knowing what to do. But, you know, this 2020, if it showed us anything, is that video, it was here to stay, but now it is an extremely powerful way of connecting with people. So I think what will happen is, I think you're going to have people that, whether they were let go or trimmed down or decided to work at home more, will realize, maybe I can start that side hustle. Maybe I can turn that side hustle into a business. I still think it's a great time to start a business. And then you decide what level of success it's on. So I think for me, it's helping people, what I like to say, get into and grow with video. I like to work with the beginners and the newbies, trying to figure it out. I've always joked, I can't tell you technically how to use my camera, but I can tell you and show you creatively what you can do with it.
Ah, yeah, I like that. Um, I know that you do work with all sizes of businesses, but what do you enjoy working with the most? Is it the individual or?
It is. I mean, I also have a heart for nonprofits.
Mm.
I've been blessed with working with a lot of nonprofits. Some for free. You can cut that part out. Just joking.
We don't want to hear
Um,
that.
and then some, they have budgets. And the reason that I have a heart for nonprofits, and certain ones more than any others, is because, a lot of times these folks, they're just not in it for the money. They're in it to make a difference in a community. And it's not to say you can't be passionate about your business, because if you're not, you're probably going to be out of business. But I think when you work with these folks, and a lot of times they have nothing to work with, and you can give them something. Oh, that's just cool. But yeah, I think, there's also a joy in working with small business owners. I think sometimes they have more, what do you call it, more teeth in the game, more, more to lose. It always pains me to see a local business go out of business, because I'm like, well, there's a death of one American dream. Now they can restart, but there's more on the line, I think, for a local business owner. So but at the heart of it, I mean, I love working with nonprofits.
Yeah.
I'm trying myself not to be a nonprofit.
Tell me about it. Now, do you actually go in and establish a marketing plan, or do you just go in and, people say, I want this video, and you go in and shoot it, or what?
I've done both. When I was the creative director at the Fox station, that's what we did. I mean, we would plan short and long. So we would, we'd be planning a year out in advance, and then quarterly and monthly. But then we also would keep it loose. So if something happened, even though we were more entertainment based as a station, but if something happened, we could adapt to it. So I can do both. One of my clients that we've done a lot of online courses together with, we kind of, she has the idea of, here's what I want to make. She's a silversmith. And then we talk about, okay, what are the videos going to look like, and how can we shoot them? And then I help her with the marketing, which she had never really ever thought about. She has a huge following, but still, so when we were producing, I'd say, okay, now let's do a video for this, and let's do a video for this, and then let's do a video for a pre-launch. And it got her thinking about, and so I think that's one of the things that I can do, is help people kind of see beyond just the immediate need, and then how do they use different platforms? This video may work here, it may not work here, or, I mean, I've had clients and friends go, well, I guess I need a Pinterest account, or I guess I need a Twitter account. And it's like, well, let's talk about that. Why? And helping people really think through it, as opposed to, I got to do it all.
Yeah, right. And who can?
Yeah.
What do you think some business people are hesitant to use video when clearly it's one of the hottest marketing tools around? I mean, even for somebody that has a job, I will tell them they need to do videos.
Yeah. I think a lot of times there's a fear of it. It's a, every year we have the Super Bowl, which is fine with me, because I'm a huge, huge pro football fan. Go Saints. Don't cut that out. Go Saints. So I think, every year it's like, well, it's the Super Bowl commercials, and you see these millions and millions of dollars commercials. And so everybody thinks, wow, that's the budget I need. I can't do that. So I think it's a fear of, I can't produce that. Then, as we mentioned earlier, I think it's the fear of the gear. I don't have the right gear. I don't have the right camera. I mean, I even see content creators do this, that, well, I don't want to use my iPhone. Like I mentioned, I want to get a better camera. Well, my iPhone shoots 4K. And I also think sometimes it's just not knowing what to do with it. Believe it or not, as big as video is and continues to grow, people still think of it as TV commercials and big budgets, and it just doesn't have to be. The beauty with social media is, and channels like YouTube, is it was a leveler for everybody. So you can have $100,000 budget or a $1 budget, and you can have a channel, you can have a website, you can have a voice. And I think when business owners get that, it's like, oh, and then sometimes just they need encouragement. I've worked with clients that were very uncomfortable on camera. And then I helped them get over that, and they realized, oh, it's not that scary after all, just to kind of talk and share. So I think, just getting over the fear, getting over the gear, and just taking a chance, and talking as opposed to selling.
Right. Yeah. And it's all one step at a time. you know,
Oh, absolutely.
you
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
as you go. And how difficult has it been to do what you do during this pandemic?
I mean, I had some projects that got canceled. But then I picked up some projects that a year ago, I didn't see coming. Um, and so it also, it allowed me to step back and go, okay, so what do I want to do with my business and how do I want to adapt and how can I help people? Quite honestly, I was already working at home. I have, this is my office studio, so that didn't change. I have gear, so that didn't change. And I was already live streaming and using a lot of the technology that people are just now trying to figure out. So in a lot of aspects, it didn't really change. What did change is the face-to-face meetings at the coffee shop, or meeting up with folks and things like that.
Yeah.
But the flip side, though, is I think it's created a lot of opportunities to work with people globally that are, they're trying to do things other than Zoom, or they're doing more, or speakers that they may never speak at another conference for a long time. I think it'll happen one day, but
Mhm.
for a while. So how can they get into this game and look better? So it's trying to figure out that, how do you serve people? How do you help people?
Right.
That's when I
Yeah.
got more focused with my YouTube channel. So it took that too.
Yeah. And how do you keep up with the trends in technology that change every nanosecond?
Well, I'm a constant just like learner. I love just to seek out stuff. So I mean, I have apps I use. I mean, I use Google News, and I use an app called Flipboard. And then I have email newsletters I get from certain publications that track everything from like social media news to technology news. And so I'm a good headline scanner. So I'll just look and go, oh, oh, oh. And then a lot of times, like I also use a program called Pocket, and it's free. And so when I'm seeing something, and whether it's a video or an article or whatever, there's a little pocket, you save it to your Pocket, and then I can go back later and look at that. But a lot of times it's just playing and trying. Oh, let me try this out. Let me try this out. Oh, this is kind of cool. And then seeing where it goes from there.
Yeah, right. Some people are afraid to even try some things I know.
Well, and you asked a few minutes ago about why people don't get into more video too. I think, and this may be more about live streaming, which I think is huge, but I think it's the fear of, what if I mess up? What if something goes wrong? And usually what I tell people is it will, and you will, but you have to be prepared for that. Almost anything you can imagine happening in a live stream, to a degree, I've done it. I've been live without knowing it. I've had things happen in the background. I've lost a light. I had a camera die. I had a big hairball hanging off my beard. You name it, and it's happened. I've had people not show up for the interview. So when you realize, okay, it happened to him, and he's still alive. And that helps you just kind of roll with it. And I think
Right.
people like that too. I really do.
That's right. Now, on your Facebook page, you got an infographic about businesses that they should have a website in 2021. And you suggest that that's a way that allows them to control the narrative. Could you expound on that just a little bit?
Yeah, and in fairness, I mean, I've got a website, had a website for years. I actually have a couple of websites, and I love social media. I also did it's a post on my profile about that. If you want to rag on social media, fine, but I'm not going to. I personally think social media is no more than what we put into it. It's a thing. It doesn't. I know there's AI, but it doesn't think, well, I don't like Kevin today. It just puts stuff out there that we put into it. But as much as I love YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, it's all borrowed space. If you and I wake up tomorrow and Mark Zuckerberg had a really bad day and goes, I know I said Facebook would always be free, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to start charging you for groups. And the pages, yeah, we're going to get rid of those because they don't really work. and you've built your entire business on borrowed land. It's almost like social squatting. I just thought of that phrase. There's nothing you can do as opposed to having a website. Now, granted, I have a site on WordPress. I have a site on Kajabi. I pay them, but everything I put on there, I own. It's up to me, the layout. If I want to blog on it, where I want the blog, what do I want the blog to be about? And it's kind of like a digital billboard calling card that, if you're going to Facebook, you may never get to what I want you to see because, oh, there's a notification, there's somebody's birthday, and oh, look, there's the next political post. And then you're never where you're supposed to go. And if Facebook decides that, well, this month we want to make Marketplace the goal, or we want to make Facebook Watch the goal, then they change the layout, which changes your experience. So that's why I think a website to me is an absolute positively no-brainer, because you can use it to, help search. You can use it to promote a business, a cause, a course, drive an email list. You can start one for nothing up to a lot. And it's surprising. I think that's still something though, Diane, that still surprises me, or businesses, I'll say businesses that won't take YouTube serious as a channel and don't have a website, or they have a Facebook page and they consider that their website. And it's like, it's not. They can change the terms of service tomorrow and you're out of business.
Interesting. Hadn't thought of that myself, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's their control, right?
It is. And you know what? And it's funny because people get all wound up. I don't give Facebook the right to do this, and it's like, you did when you signed up for an account. You gave them the right to do that. You're using something for free, and even if you don't misuse it, you're using it for free. It's not yours. You're not paying a dime. You can start a Facebook profile for free.
Right.
Which is good too.
Yeah, right. True. Free is good. It's in my budget. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one of your kudos states that you're easy to work with, but there's some other reasons I'm sure that people should hire you. How is your work different? Why should I hire you over some other Joe Schmo?
Well, that's a good point. I have good hair. I always like to remind people that right off the bat. I can recommend some really nice hair products for cheap. Well, I think because of my experience and what I've been doing for a long time, I like to help people just kind of cut through the clutter and just figure out simple solutions, but creatively thinking. I'm not a big fan of just doing it traditionally because we've always done it that way. I ran into that a lot in broadcast. Why are we doing this way? Well, we've always done it that way. But that doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. There's a difference between a family tradition and a business habit where it can actually stifle you. I have the ability to help people kind of see bigger and deeper in a way they maybe haven't thought about. Even if you're like, this is all I want to do, maybe helping you like, well, let's expand on it more. What if you use this over here? And they go, oh, I didn't think about that. And to me, that's a win. So I think because of the experience I bring from, traditional media into digital media, it's a great combination. So I know how that world works, and I know how the digital media world works. And I'm not interested in, buying commercials for you. I'm interested in helping you tell your story in a way that can make an impact, in whatever way you need to, so you can share your gifts and make money and help people.
All right. And you do have some great gifts. And Kevin, how can people get a hold of you? What's the best way if they want to work with you?
Well, I have a website, Diane.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do
I know.
tell.
I didn't know if you knew that. Yeah. So probably the best way is my website is kevinkolbe.com. And I'm also on YouTube, Kevin Kolbe, and Facebook and other places. I'm at Kevin Kolbe Media. So even if you type in Kevin Kolbe Media, which is my company, you'll get to kevinkolbe.com. And on there's a little bit more about me, some resources that people can look and see what I use, things I use to create and run my business. There's a contact form on there. So that might be the best way of doing it. But if people want to connect with me on social media, I think that's fantastic too.
Ah, great. Super. Thank you so much, Kevin. You've really given us some great perspectives today, and I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
And thank you for watching Business Notes. We've been speaking with Kevin Kolbe, video coach, content creator, and founder of Kevin Kolbe Media. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, bringing you business ideas you can bank on.